welcome to the Neville Richards Premier League Round 5 review, Round 6 preview. We've got the directorial skills of Mariah Spielberg-Milne in the background. So if something goes awry here, Matty,
it's on me.
It's on you.
Yeah, well, she has been told not to touch the camera or the phone, so hopefully she'll adhere to her father's warnings, but we'll see how we go. She might even make a special appearance later on, maybe.
How does that go, your parental instructions as a rule?
I would say that I'm a very patient father. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think my children do listen to what I ask them to do, so...
A lot of shaking of the head from Ms. Spielberg back there. Matty, let's get into it. Another fascinating weekend. There's a bit of a haves and have-nots emerging on the ladder. We'll get to that in a few minutes. But the big trouble here for the Hookers again against the Warriors.
They did, Hazy. The Hookers went down again, 204 to 181.
Oh, good.
Tough conditions again Saturday morning. Weather was a bit ordinary, a bit of rain. Most of our Premier League players played, but there actually was one player in the Hookers that didn't play. He pulled out in the morning, and we better give a special shout out to Rob Moorcroft.
Oh.
He was offered around 8:30, and then he just decided at around 8:15, 8 o'clock to call in. Yeah, he didn't sort of give much of a reason, just said he had to withdraw, but he's normally made of sterner stuff, Rob. But yeah, he was one surprising. But no, by and large, we had a good take-up of all the teams there. But yeah, the Hookers were severely affected. They only had 6 play.
Oh, yeah.
So the minimum 6 scores for them, so it was always going to be difficult for that team. So yeah, the Warriors 204 to the Hookers 181. Warriors had 11 players. For the Hookers, Dan Hopgood returned to form with 37, Billy Adams 33, Ian Francis 32, Choco Royal had 29, Paddy Kennedy 25, and Chris Dodds, our all-port team player last year, he was 25. While the Warriors, Johnny Leading had 40, Jill Barker 38, Ian Lachlan 34, Brian Bell 32, Julie Milne 31, and Gary Haywood 29. But yeah, tough going for the Hookers. Dan, actually Hopgood had a great round going, but had 4 one-pointers on the back 9. So probably wouldn't have influenced the overall result, but it could have been a good score for him. And they've actually really missed over the last 2 weeks the influence of Geldof.
Geldof?
Geldof.
Please explain.
Chris James. I don't like Saturdays. Chris James can play on Thursdays, has some good scores, but Saturdays, off the old hit, I don't like Mondays, but we're going to go, I don't like Saturdays for Chrissy James. But he's had the last 2 weeks off. He's such an important member for that team, and they've really missed his capabilities. But the Warriors, too strong for them. Gun players like Johnny Leading and Jill and the Angry Ant Lachlan all put in a strong foundation, and they were still able to win with a score in the 20s counting.
Yeah, it's amazing. I want to give a book here, the Golf Course Guide. We've got a few of these to give away today. Johnny Leading, he's copped bakes from you last year mercilessly, but he's really fired up this year, and I'd say he's even in the running to be in the all-port team at the moment.
Yeah, so. Well, he showed some heart, but then he also went back to his old diminutive ways, like was going really well there. I think I was texting you on the way around that he was 31 points after 12 holes or something, or 13 holes, and just proceeded to limp in for 40. I think he still won the monthly medal though. Yeah. So, but no, good effort, Johnny, off your low handicap.
Course guide and the medal, well done, Johnny. That's really good, well played. Second match, Matt, was the Tornadoes and the Crusaders.
This one was tight. 2 points of difference, the way of the Crusaders. Both teams had 11 players. For the Tornadoes, and you'll notice with this, Hazy, that not one of the players in these teams played to their handicap of 36 points. But they were just very consistent around the scoring. But the Tornadoes had Norma Vogel on 35, Flea Pollock 34, Bernie Reid had 32, Collies Bell 31, Steve Bond 30, and Andrew Wooten 29. While the Crusaders were led by the 2 ladies of the team, Jan Cogger and Jeanette Johnson on 34. Cooper McMuffin returned for 32, Josh Bowen 32, Bobby Gibbs 31, and your girl Nina, the slow burn Edmondson, she had 30.
She got into me last week. Doesn't like being the dark horse.
No, she wasn't. She was right off you.
Yeah, she was. So what are we calling it now? The slow burn?
The slow burn.
Slow burn.
Yeah, but the Crusaders produced a solid win without the help of Snags Finamore, 29 this week, so he sort of dropped away a little bit. But yeah, the girls led the way. sort of Cooper McMurray, he was all right. He showed some heart. He's only had 14 points after 10 holes. Came home with 18. Showed a bit more ticker than his old man does, but that was well done for you, Coop, there. Tornadoes were in it all day, but when Alan Kerry, he was in the last group, produced 25 points. Crusader Josh Bowen come in with 32. Josh was in the last group as well.
That was it. That was the decisive.
That was like 15 the last 6, 10 the last 4. If he came in with 29, Josh, then the Crusaders lose. So, but he sort of showed a little bit of ticker there as well. And for the Tornadoes, Norma Vogel finished one white 2 for her 35. So
top of the pops for the Tornadoes, but still not good enough to.
Yeah, not good enough to get their team over the line. So it seems a lot of golfers are struggling on holes 16, 17, 18. That might be Portarlington's Amen corner.
It might be. It's got me a couple of times lately, so I can't hang too much, shall we say?
Yes. We'll go into that a bit further later, Hazy.
Oh, good. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, well played to the Crusaders and moving up the ladder nicely. So going well. And in that match, I'd like to make mention of Jeanette Johnson, who partnered with Bill Reid to win the Mixed Foursomes Championship the previous weekend on the Sunday. So a great week for Jeanette Johnson, and she too is going to get a golf course guide. Well played, Jeanette. Good to see you doing so well. Maddie, we'll move on to the third game, which was the Pirates, the all-conquering Pirates really, and the Bullies.
Yes. Pirates 199 defeated the Bullies 185, 11 players versus 12. For the Pirates, that girl again, Yvette Pollock, wife of Flea, 38. Toby Primetime, 37. Joy Francis, 32. Johnny Powell, 31. Darren Heaton, 31. And Peter Scuba Hub, 30. While the Bullies, Johnny Wooten, 32. Got to bake a couple of weeks ago and he's returned to a little bit of form. Sean Rodwell, 32. Ange Foote, 31. Pete Vogel, 30. And then Jen Edmondson and Jackie Rowe also had 30. But the Bullies were totally outclassed, with obviously the highest scorer for them being 32 points. It's hard to win in that situation. As I said, Johnny copped a bit of a spray and responded. But the Bullies were consistent across the board, but it was just substandard, the scoring, to go up against the defending champions. But the Pirates could have really put the foot to the throat on the Bullies and had a really big percentage boost. But a couple of players may have felt the pressure once again. Portarlington's Amen corner, Yvette Pollock. She had 38 points. 36 points after 15 holes.
Oh, really?
Finished 1-1 wipe. Wouldn't have wanted to have been Dale in that household when she left the course. Toby Primetime, 31 points after 13. Also drove it 60 metres off the 18th green. Like quite a long drive down there for such a small man. Proceeded to scratch the hole.
He scratched from 60 metres with a shot.
Yep. Maybe thinking too much of his little golf trip away, coming up in the next week or so up the river, Hazy. Who takes their partner on a golf trip? Have you got any thoughts on that?
Well, I just think that Angela Prime seems to be the most accepting, loving, caring, generous woman on the planet.
You got to wonder why she's with him, don't you? Like he takes advantage of the situation. Look, I'll take you away for the weekend, but I'm taking my golf clubs. I'm going to have 9 games of golf in 4 days.
It's a marital, decision, this trip, and in go the Callaways, and
it's all about Toby.
It's all about Toby. You think in that situation you'd probably finish off the round and take home a smile.
Exactly. But anyway, good job, Primey.
And I do want to mention Peter Solhart. I'm going to flash a picture up here of self-provided from Scuba.
Yes, I did get that as well.
Yeah, and he's just showing the commitment. I think the Pirates have got that sort of X factor that Scuba's put into it.
They do. It's so sickening to watch, though.
Well, there is a bit of that.
Yeah.
The fourth match was the Goblins against the absolutely hapless Peakers.
Yes, Goblins 11 players, the Peakers had 9, but Peakers, they scored 198. So they would have actually beaten the Hookers, the Crusaders and the Tornadoes and the Bullies this week. But they just come up against the Goblins, who were the highest scoring team.
Yeah.
Again, they win the Callaway golf balls again this week.
Is that right?
207, and We've got for the Goblins, Judy Said, fantastic 41 points for Judy. The dog breeder, Ian Woodhouse 36, Trevor Thompson 34, Richie Howes 34, Steve Evans 32, and then on 30, these scores counted the Sheik, Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds hit the scoreboard, Barry Benson, Josh Kent, while for the Peakers, Yanni Flanders 36, David Milne 34, Rob Stiglbauer 33, Lynn Kirby 33, Lloyd Shepherd 31, and Lee McMuffin 31. But Yanni wa Shimu o Shitsubu sa Seta.
Come again?
Yanni wa Shimu o Satsuba sa Seta.
Wow, that's impressive enunciation, Matthew. Can you tell us what it means?
Yanni, you let the team down.
Yeah, Yanni.
Deja vu for the Peakers. Scored well, got beat. But Peakers led by the so strong man Ian Flanders. But he did the same thing again. 29 after 13 holes for 36.
Gas.
The gas. But it's all about Judy Said, I think, here. 41 points. She was actually playing with Yvette Pollock. They were going head to head.
Yeah.
Me and Maxie are looking at the live scoring on the way through, and Yvette, well, we know what she did, but Judy stayed strong and she finished with 41 points, and that's securing the highest score for Premier League this week. So she will get the Travis Matthew Polo this week.
Well played, Judy.
Yeah, well done.
I'd say she's firming into calculations for the Drayton medal.
Yes, well, as soon as we sort of say that to a few of the guys and girls, they get a little bit nervy with the pressure of being a Drayton medalist favourite.
Well, she's got big shoulders. She can take it.
She does. But she's quite small, but big shoulders.
I know.
Yeah, but no, anyway. But no, the dog breeder, actually, he was going all right too. He's hit the scoreboard for the first time. Really, he's had 8 3-pointers.
Really? That's a lot of good golf.
Yeah, a lot of shit too.
Can't give you a book, Judy, seeing you got one last week, but for a second good score in a row, the flange, Yanni Flanders, well done. You get a golf course guide.
Good on you, Ian.
Well done.
He's actually probably nearly taking over Scuba Hub from the passion for this event. He loves it. He's getting into his players and trying to rev them up and G them up.
That's good.
So, yeah, so the Flanders, bad luck, your team lost again.
I don't know what that says with Scuba's team on the top and Flanger's team on the bottom.
Yeah,
but
well.
Anyway, we'll do it now. Well, let's do the ladder now, Matty. We'll have a quick look. The Pirates have kicked clear along with the Crusaders. Not only, well, I suppose they're not too far ahead of the Warriors in percentage, the Crusaders, but Pirates and Crusaders clear, and at the other end of the table, massive issues for the Peakers already. They are 3 games and an enormous percentage outside the finals calculations.
And this week is massive. It's 7th placed Hookers versus the last placed Peakers.
Are you prepared to stick a fork in the losing team here, or is it still too early?
Well, I reckon it probably getting close. But saying that though, this round last year, the Tornadoes hadn't won a game, and then they ended up getting up and beating the Warriors last year in this same equivalent round. So maybe might be history repeating.
All right, well, let's get into this the preview of round 6 coming up. I know there's not only a bottom of the table clash, but another big one, the juicy one at the top of the table as well, Matty.
Yeah, so as I said, the Hookers are up against the Peakers this week. Hookers should see the return of Stewie Anderson and Neil Keskinen, while the Peakers will have the return of Tikumaduda Wilson and the prodigal son, Yanni Rotarusu.
Rotarusu?
Okari Kokohudo.
Please explain.
Welcome back, my friend. We'll use that interpretation.
Yeah, okay.
But scoring-wise, there's only 2 points between the counted scores between both teams. The Hookers need some scoring improvement from Ian Francis, all Portarlington team member from last year, Chris Dodds, while the Peakers would want Yanni McMuffin and also Ken Latta to show some improvement. Flanders, I put heat on you about finishing your round off, but you did it again on Saturday. You didn't do it, so I'm still not sure what we're going to go with that. But yeah, as I said, the Tornadoes won this. Didn't win a game last year up until this game, and they got up. So let's hope for the Peakers they're not playing bad. They're just
No.
finding that one team scoring more than them.
The against column in the ladder is amazing. I mean, they've still got 210 points per week, basically averaged against them. So
Yeah.
they have been a bit stiff. Let's
Yeah,
say.
but
that.
even if the Peakers do win, they will stay on the bottom due to the percentage. But
Yeah.
but yes, it's a big game for both teams.
You've got to take small steps before you can run, Matty.
Exactly.
You know that. It's very.
Very knowledgeable from you, Mark.
Thank you very much. The next game you want to discuss is the Warriors against the Tornadoes.
Yes, 3rd versus 5th here. This could have been match of the round if it wasn't for the top of the table clash a little bit later on. It's going to be full of intrigue and bragging rights, this one. We have clusters of members in this who normally play together most weeks, and they're going to be on opposing teams this week. So we've got, for the Warriors, we have Malsey up against Ando in the Sword.
Yeah.
Timmy Benham and Skeeter up against Pollock and Swain. So there'll be a fair bit of bragging rights here. So evenly matched. Both teams have had 4 players that have had their scores count over 80% of the time this year. And 2 players that have scored once.
Who would they be?
Not once. So
Can you name names?
yeah, well, for the Warriors, Buffhead's only scored once. And Timmy Benham hasn't scored at all for his team.
No.
But I can understand Buffhead because he's not a very good golfer. But Tim, I gave you a spray last week. Didn't obviously seem to work. You were a little bit offended by it, so I might change my approach this week. Now, Timothy, your team would love for you to contribute this week. That is if it's okay with you. We don't want to put too much pressure on your broad shoulders, but I think your team would like some help in trying to win this week. Tornadoes, they've had Alan Kerry and Anthony Swain.
I'm sorry, I was just.
No, well, I can't go too much because I didn't want to offend Tim too much, so I thought I'd go the softly approach. If that doesn't work, well, I don't know what we'll do.
We'll review next week.
But for the Tornadoes, Alan Kerry and Anthony Swain. Both of you have played 3 rounds. Can you pull your digits out? Haven't really contributed much to the scoring for your team. Don't know.
I want to go back to Tim Benham. He's become a video provider, which is great news. Unfortunately, he's become a bit of a headline provider because not only did he score, how many did you say? 18?
18 he scored on Saturday. He actually was at the, if you go, normally everyone looks at the top of the leaderboard to see who everyone's scoring. I actually go to the bottom and work up. And guess who was at the bottom?
Tim Benham. That comes on the back of a, so I'm being the bad cop this week. That comes on the back of a bit of a flogging in the match play knockout.
Yes.
From Chung as well during the week. It was an awful number.
Yeah, I think 7 and 6.
7 and 5 or something.
Yeah.
Walked off a long way onto the course, I know that.
But I thought he was better, but obviously he's still in Darwin holiday mode.
So I'm going to just say that there's only one person who's constantly in this zone, and we might come to his team in a minute, but
Is this the Rickometer?
this is the Rickometer, which will be, until otherwise, proved unnecessary, will be a regular feature on this video. And Tim Benham, you've put yourself right in the scope of the Rickometer. Now, this refers to our good friend Rick Edmondson, who had how many points on Saturday, Matthew?
I think he had a 24 again.
Another 24. So I just want to put up the Rickometer here and just explain to people that the 3 columns that you can see, the average score or the best score of the Goblins, the average scoring score of the Goblins, and then Rick Edmondson's score. That's the
chart, the graph.
The chart. That's the sliding scale there. So the 3rd column in each of the weeks is what Rick's turning out, and that's the PPP sort of power line, shall we say. And Tim Benham's dropped below it this week.
Yes, he's prime candidate. Couldn't have happened to a nicer bloke, to be honest.
Oh, well, let's move on to Rick's team, which is the Goblins, and they're playing against the Bullies. Another big match.
Yeah, the Bullies are sitting 6th while the Goblins are 4th. Goblins will go in favourites after another strong performance. They're just a high-scoring team. They have a great mix of players with the consistency of Judy Said. Actually, they won last week without Pat Peacock, who was their star player, so hopefully she'll be returning. Barry Benson, Josh Kent, Richie Howes. But then they have the blend with the high-scoring Peter O'Neill. They are dangerous, but saying that, they do have Rick in their team, and they also have Sheik Reynolds in their team as well. So there is a little bit of shit in there as well, just to be polite.
I'm glad you were polite.
Well, I can't hang it on Woody. He had 36 last week, so I've got to go to someone else. But the Bullies were seen as the glamour couple at the start of the season. Season launched with the 3-gun females in the team. They were seen as like being the real dark horse to win, with Alan Sweeney there, Ross Gibbon, Sean Rodwell. But I think it's time for them to stand up. If they want to contend for finals, they need to get this one over the line. But we've got Kevin Hudson, Alan Sweeney. You've only hit the scoreboard once so far this season. While Barefoot All, Manny Golfus and John Wooten, you've only contributed twice for the Bullies there. So I think
Angie Bearall got her name on the board this week.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, I think so. But yeah, I think she's been working hard on her putting, but it's a crunch game for both teams. Goblins can sort of really cement their top 4, while a Bullies win will probably nearly slide them into the top 4, and they'll probably reverse position. So massive game, this one.
And there's only one more massive game than that, and that is the top of the table epic potential finals preview here. The Pigeon Street Pirates and the crossover Crusaders. It's all to play for here for bragging rights as well.
First versus second, match of the round, match of the season. Defending champions, undefeated, cocky, arrogant Pirates against the high-scoring, consistent Crusaders. We say it every week, the Pirates just keep winning. They're never the sort of the high-scoring team, but they just do enough to get the chockies every week. As we've mentioned, this is probably the most important game of the year, and the Pirates appear to be missing 2 of the most important players in their team.
Is that right?
Toby Primetime.
Jezza.
And
it's holiday time, isn't it?
and Darren Kit Kat Heaton.
Darren who?
Kit Kat Heaton.
Kit Kat.
Primetime's going on his little golf trip away with the lovely. Darren Heaton, I believe, is heading down to Apollo Bay for a boozy golf trip weekend with his mates. But seriously, lads, this is the game you decide to do it on. I'm sure Scuba Hub will be obvious for this. But they will welcome back the Silver Fox McGrath. He should be back in. Should be relaxed, tanned, and ready to fire for this massive game. Moisturised up. Crusaders appear to be missing some players as well. Cooper McMurrich, he's off up the river. Little family holiday. Hopefully he'll put some practice in while he's up there. While Jan Cogger, arguably one of the most consistent Crusaders, is out. And I have heard a rumour that she has secured the services of the one and only MH. Is that correct?
I can confirm this. I am, no matter appearances, I am Jan Cogger this week, Matty. So I'm looking forward to becoming a Crusader.
And how's the form?
Really solid until the 16th tee.
You're right. Yeah. Well, it's interesting though. Every time you've played, it's going to be either against or for the Pirates. Is it? Yeah, maybe that everyone's sort of looking at you. I actually had another little message last night for your services as well. So that might need to be discussed a little bit further off camera. But yeah, the Crusaders had 5 players last week who failed to score above 26.
Well, I'm confident I can do that.
Yeah. Johnny Rowe, 25. Nipper Dodds, 24. Stan Maskell, 26. And Cliff McCorkle, 22.
Oh, geez, he's come off the boil, hasn't he?
He has. He's been shocking. If they put effort like that, the Pirates will prevail. Stan Maskell, you finished 6th in the Drayton Medal last year, came home like with a wet sail. I don't know, you were the linchpin last year for the Crusaders, but this year you've only scored 27, 26, 32, 31 and 26. Not good enough for you and for your team. Cliffy McCorkle, you only had 22 after the spray I gave you last week. Do we have to do a Tim Benham style for you if you don't perform this week?
An intervention.
I came to see you after 9 holes and you had 10 points. Tried to inspire you, but you only had 12 on the back, so you obviously don't listen to some constructive criticism that well.
Are you saying you're inspirational?
Well, I try to be. I try to lift the teams here.
Right.
The Pirates had 4 players under 26 last week. Shirley Bell, she only had 11. Bit of an injury cloud for Shirley. So she's she may miss this week. So yeah, so we had a bit of a chat about her injury that she's going through at the moment. Jerry Raviani, 20. Johnny Crossett, 24. And Ribs King, 24. If the Pirates are to win, these players will need to help their team. You can't rely on the big name stars.
No, this is true. Well, I'm all about John Crossett and his ilk this week.
How will you feel if you are you inspire the Crusaders to inflict the Pirates' first loss for the year.
Oh, I'll be up and about here next week, I can assure you.
I hope you do. I hope there's a little costume if you do come up with the goods.
That's about it. You want to make mention of a couple of things we have on the table here. I want to thank you personally for your involvement as a sponsor. Not to mention Neville Richards, who do an unbelievable job of backing this whole tournament.
Yeah, so yeah, we'd like to thank obviously Callaway as well for their support with our weekly golf balls. So for those Goblins, again this week, they can come in and pick up their twin pack of Callaways, which is great. Yeah, we've got some Callaway and Travis Matthew beanies there as well. So yeah, if you are looking for anything like that, and then we have our team caps as well. You may have seen some of your teammates or opposition wearing those caps. So we do have those for sale in the pro shop too, if you do want to get into a bit of the team spirit and represent your team to the Cliff McCorkle type performances.
All right, well, I'm all about the Crusaders this week. We're going to take down the Pirates. Thank you for some inspirational words, especially the Japanese ones.
Yes, well, Yanni's back, so we won't need to do that. But Hazy, when we get off air, we need to work on for you for the Crusaders this week.
All right.
I'll give you some words of encouragement.
Thank you to Mariah Spielberg in the background, and I think that's it for us. See you next week.